Chat, we back with another video, okay? We back with another video, okay? Meet the toughest QB in NFL history. Again, I'm not sure, okay, if he's the toughest in NFL history, okay? CoupeReacts Productions, let's get it!
In a league full of tough quarterbacks, Mathew Stafford stands in a class of his own. He's
I know this dude. I know this dude.
played through broken bones, torn ligaments, and injuries that would have ended most players' careers. But Stafford kept going, setting the record for most game-winning drives in NFL history. From single-handedly turning the Lions from a poverty franchise into an actual NFL team and leading the Rams to a Super Bowl, Stafford has been a beast. But to understand how we got here, we need to go back to the beginning. And now, unlike the way he plays, Stafford's childhood was anything but tough. He grew up in Highland Park, Texas, one of the wealthiest areas in the country. But he wasn't just any kid playing backyard football. From an early age, his parents knew he was different, almost like a prodigy. Stafford had a natural gift for throwing the ball, and it didn't take long for people to notice. He grew up surrounded by talent too. His childhood best friend, none other than Clayton Kershaw, the future MLB superstar and Cy Young winner. The two weren't just friends, they were both freak athletes who pushed each other to be great.
Really pretty good little center, pretty good football player, tough guy. Somebody hit me late in the game once and he retaliated.
I got mad about it, so the next play, I cut blocked my guy and I got him on the ground or whatever, and then, as he was sitting there, I gave him a good punch to the gut and got ejected.
While Kershaw was dominating on the baseball mound, Stafford was turning heads on the football field, showing an arm strength that looked unfair for kids his age.
Around here in Texas, we do 6-man football in 4th grade, and he was throwing the ball. I don't know. He was throwing the ball further than everybody else. And then actually we did track meets in elementary school, and instead of the shot put, we did the softball throw. And the softball throw, he just dominated that too. So he's always had a great arm.
Unlike so many other NFL stars who had to claw their way out of tough situations, Stafford's journey started from a place of privilege. His dad was a former
Okay, look, I don't want to be that dude, but that doesn't matter, bro, okay? Like, if you grew up rich, you grew up a billionaire, it don't matter, bro, okay? We here to watch how we got there, but we don't care. Stop making it look like he was a privileged prick, bro, what?
By the time Mathew Stafford reached high school, he wasn't just another talented quarterback, he was the quarterback. His arm strength was already elite, and while most high school QBs were trying to throw a clean spiral, Stafford was launching 50-yard bombs with ease. Oh, and his numbers? Yeah, they're ridiculous. As a senior, he threw for 4,018 yards and 38 touchdowns, leading Highland Park to a perfect 15-0 record.
Wow. Damn. Yeah. He was definitely NFL bound, bro.
Record in a state championship in 2005. He was the #1 ranked quarterback in the nation, a parade All-American in the MVP of the quarterback in the nation, a parade All-American in the MVP of the U.S. Army All-American Bowl. Mathew Stafford was so good in high school that Mel Kiper Jr. predicted he'd be the
reportedly predicting Stafford will be the #1 pick in the NFL draft while he was still in high school. Oh yeah. This guy was gonna cook. This guy was definitely gonna cook, chat.
the first pick in the NFL draft even before his college career began. And with nearly every major program in the country offering him a scholarship, Stafford had his pick from the best. But for him, there was only one real option: Georgia. Stafford became Georgia's starter midway through his true freshman season in 2006, and despite some growing pains, his talent was absolutely undeniable. By his sophomore year, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the country, throwing for 2,523 yards and 19 touchdowns, while leading Georgia to an 2,500.
I don't know, bro. Like, is that like a lot, bro?
123 yards.
2,523 yards and 19 touchdowns. Is that a lot? Wait, I think he was still a rookie, right? So for a rookie, it's not bad, right? I feel like for somebody who's a rookie, bro, it's not fair because there's already like a veteran QB here. So for a rookie to come in and do these numbers, I feel like, you know, it's not fair, right? I don't know what you'll think.
And 19 touchdowns, while leading Georgia to an 11-2 record in a Sugar Bowl victory over Hawaii. But it was in 2008 during his junior year where he really broke out. He threw for 3,549 yards, 25 touchdowns, and just 10 interceptions, setting a school record for single-season passing yards at the time. His arm strength was on full display in games like Georgia's win over LSU, where he torched the Tigers for 249 yards and 2 touchdowns. And despite never winning a national championship, the hype was real. And by now, heading into the NFL draft, Mel Kiper's prediction from a few years prior was now about to become a reality. But there was one problem. It wasn't going to be exactly an ideal situation for Stafford to go into. You see, the Detroit Lions, coming off of an 0-16 disaster of a season, held the first overall pick. They needed a franchise quarterback.
Hey, yo, he was cooked, bro. Nah, he was cooked because you know that the whole offense is bad. 0 for 16, bro, 0 wins. And nah, I know people got fired that previous season, bro.
Someone to lead them out of irrelevance.
Yo, like, I don't know, bro. Would you take it, bro? I don't know, would you take this deal here, bro? I mean, sure, you could go in there, you can change the team if you really trust yourself. You know, the team could pick you up with good players too. Would you take it, bro? Okay, would you take it for the money? Okay, or would you take it because you think you can change them, bro?
And Stafford was their guy.
The first pick in the 2009 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Mathew Stafford, quarterback.
Nah, bro, that's tough, bro. Being told you're gonna be a first pick when you were still in high school, and then you're gonna do bro.
When Mathew Stafford arrived in Detroit,
Wait, bro, are those boos or what? I feel like they are booing him, bro. Are they booing him or are they booing the team?
Detroit Lions select Mathew Stafford, quarterback, Georgia.
Wait, can I ask something? Can you like reject an offer? I don't think you can reject being drafted, right? If a team wants you, they want you, bro. You're gonna have to accept. Even if like the team you have, you set your priorities for, you're gonna have to say yes, I guess.
when Mathew Stafford arrived in Detroit, the franchise was at rock bottom.
Yeah, for 50 years, this organization has been looking for the next Bobby Lane, and how fitting is it for Mathew Stafford to come from Bobby Lane's high school, Highland Park in Dallas. They've got to surround this guy. He's got all the talent in the world. We know that. But now they've got to improve the rest of that football team to give that quarterback a chance.
The Lions had just suffered the first ever 0-16 season in NFL history, but there was one positive.
They got a big arm quarterback, and I tell you this, they got a great receiver.
A 6'5", 237-pound freak of nature wide receiver, better known as Megatron. In his very first game, Stafford threw a touchdown pass to Calvin Johnson in a comeback win over the New Orleans Saints, signaling the start of what would become one of the most promising quarterback-wide receiver duos in the NFL. Stafford's cannon arm was on full display from day one, but it was...
Come on, bro. A whole rookie, bro. A whole rookie, no competition for... Like, bro, as a rookie going to the NFL, you know you're going to be like QP2. Okay? You're going to be QP2. You know that, bro. You're going to be QP2. The fact that this dude came in and they said, bro, we trust in you, bro. It's the same as Madden 20. I don't know if you all play Madden 20 franchise. No, you can only be a QP. So like no, the team puts you, like, they don't care how you performed in college. Like, this is the same thing, bro. Like, this is the same vibe. This is the same energy right here.
Wasn't always pretty. He threw 13 touchdowns and 20 interceptions in his rookie year. And despite the rough start, Stafford did show flashes of what he could become. He did manage to...
Okay. How many wins, though? How many wins did they get? They went 0 for 16, okay? How many wins did they get with this young rookie QP? Let's not talk about the bad things. Let's talk about the good things, okay?
Become the first rookie in NFL history to throw 5 touchdown passes in a single game during a 38-37 victory over the Cleveland Browns in Week 10.
Blue 20!
8 seconds remaining.
Blue 20!
Stafford takes the snap, sets in the pocket, rolls left. This is going to be it. He's got to get rid of it. Stafford sets, looks, now let it back to his right. Stafford looking for somewhere to go, sets and throws. Where to go, sets and throws.
Yeah, nah. He took too long with the ball, bro. He took too long with the ball. That's 50% his fault. And I know the coach gonna tell him the same thing too. I know the coach is gonna cook him for that, bro. Like you held the ball for too long.
Oh, man. Stafford shaken up. He's up.
Is Stafford coming back in?
I think Stafford will come back in the game.
I did not think he was going to come back.
Cleveland wins it with a stop.
Yo, bro, if they repeat this thing, bro, somebody gotta get ejected. But we're finding the whole team if they fucking tackle him like that again.
1 yard to gain. Throw. Touchdown, Detroit.
The Lions did finish the season with a 2-14 record, which is
GG's, bro. This team is cooked. This team is cooked. This team is finished, bro. You can never make it, bro. Nah, you can never make it in this team, bro. They're killing a young rook's career right here, bro.
It's brutal, but hey, at least 2 wins is better than last season. Stafford did take a shoulder injury that sidelined him for part of the season, but he never lost his confidence. In just 10 games played, Stafford made one thing clear. He was the guy. And now after a tough rookie season for Mathew Stafford, coming into 2010, expectations for him were pretty high. The Lions had made some key additions with another year of experience under his belt. Stafford was expected to take a big leap. But in the season opener against the Chicago Bears, disaster would strike.
Shotgun to Stafford. Trouble coming from behind. Peppers knocks it out. It's scooped up by Tommy Harris at the 38th time he sacked the Detroit quarterback. Seems to be favoring his right shoulder or arm as he comes to the sidelines.
The Lions struggled without him, but when he finally returned in Week 8, Stafford put on a show, throwing 4 touchdowns in a dominant win over Washington.
Stafford being blitzed, throws, touchdown to the tight end, Brandon Pettigrew. Regain the lead. Stafford gets time and throws. Touchdown, Calvin Johnson. 4th down, Stafford throws. Touchdown to Calvin Johnson, his 3rd of the game.
Unfortunately, though, that return was short-lived. Just 1 week later against
Yo, bro, nah. Get this dude some real training, bro. Like, nah, like his body gotta be weak, bro. Like, what are they feeding this dude, bro?
Against the New York Jets, Stafford re-injured his shoulder while being sacked late in the game. The injury would ultimately require surgery, ending his season after just 3 starts. And now at this point too, critics started questioning if Stafford was.
Let me guess. They were saying he ain't eat, right? They said, I know what they said, bro. I feel like we all know what they said after this, bro. They said, yeah, they fucked up. They shouldn't have brought him in. He's too young. He's not experienced. He's not a franchise player. He's not gonna get them to the playoffs. He's not gonna get them. It's never okay. I know what they said, bro. I know. And I know he's gonna prove them wrong. Here we're gonna get the redemption arc, bro.
Injury prone because through 2 seasons he had played just 13 of 32 possible games. But that's the thing, is that Stafford was never phased. He was more ready to show everybody just how tough he actually was. And in 2011, everything changed. For the first time in his career, Stafford played all 16 games, and with a healthy season came jaw-dropping production. In Week 4, the Lions trailed the Cowboys 27-3 in the 3rd quarter. Stafford led a ferocious rally, throwing 2 touchdowns to Calvin Johnson in the 4th quarter to complete the comeback.
They lob it. Calvin Johnson with a touchdown.
In Week 15, Stafford threw for 4 touchdowns in the second half against the Raiders, including the game winner to Calvin Johnson with 39 seconds left.
Johnson in the back of the end zone, and it's a touchdown with 39 seconds remaining.
And then in week 17, Stafford put up a ridiculous 520 yards and 5 touchdowns in a shootout with the Packers.
Down by a point. Fired into the end zone, and that's a touchdown for Calvin Johnson. Nope. Whoa, is it a touchdown? It is a touchdown. What a hit, but a touchdown on the
By the end of
What a hit, but a touchdown on the
By the end of the season, he became just the 4th quarterback in NFL history to throw for over 5,000 yards, finishing with 5,038 yards and 41 touchdowns. But it was
Nah. That's gotta be something, right? That's gotta be like a record. I don't know, like not like the. What I'm trying to say is that's gotta like, bro. That's gotta be a record, bro. 41 touchdowns, 5,000 yards in a season. That's gotta be in the top 10, top 20, top something, bro.
It wasn't just Stafford's individual talent that stood out. His success carried the Lions into the playoffs for the first time since 1999. Although they did lose to the Saints in the wildcard round, Stafford threw for 380 yards and 3 touchdowns, proving he could perform under the bright lights.
Not his fault, bro. That's the coach's fault. Okay, that's the defensive coach's fault, bro. If he got 3 touchdowns, what was the defense doing, bro? What was the defense? He can't do everything, bro. He can't do everything.
I mean, truthfully, everyone expected the Lions to be back in that spot 1 year later, but there was one problem they kept having throughout that entire year, which was close losses. Like, I mean, the Lions seemed to be in every single game, but they just couldn't finish when they were in those close games. In week 3 against the Titans, the Lions lost 44-41 in overtime after a failed quarterback sneak on 4th down.
quarterback does it. I don't know what he
4th down.
Quarterback does it. I don't know what he got it. Quarterback does it. I don't know what he got it. He fumbled.
Titans win. Holy buckets. Hey, you starting out one round.
In week 9 against the Jags, the Lions dominated in yardage, but struggled in the red zone, settling for field goals instead of touchdowns as they lost 24-20. In week 11, Detroit led 20-14 in the 4th quarter, but gave up a late touchdown to Randall Cobb, losing 24-20 once again. After a solid 4-4 start, everything fell apart and the Lions went on to lose their final 8 games to finish 4-12. Stafford still put up the big numbers, throwing for 4,967 yards, but his touchdown total dropped from 41 in 2011 to just 20 in 2012. A big part of that was the red zone struggles. I mean, he led the NFL in pass attempts with 7. Everything fell apart and the Lions went on to lose.
Alright, boys, we back. Technical difficulties, but we back.
Red zone,
we
settling for against the Jags, the Lions dominated. The Lions seemed to be in every single game, but they just couldn't finish when they were in those close games. In week 3 against the Titans, the Lions lost 44-41 in overtime after a failed quarterback sneak on 4th down.
Quarterback does it. I don't know what he got it. He fumbled.
Titans win. Holy buckets. Hey, you starting out one round.
In week 9 against the Jags, the Lions dominated in yardage, but struggled in the red zone, settling for field goals instead of touchdowns as they lost 24-20. In week 11, Detroit led 20-14 in the 4th quarter, but gave up a late touchdown to Randall Cobb, losing 24-20 once again. After a solid 4-4 start, everything fell apart and the Lions went on to lose their final 8 games to finish 4-12. Stafford still.
I'ma be honest, bro. Like, Stafford is good, bro. I just think, like, maybe if he went to a different team, like maybe if he went to the, like the Green Bay Packers or something, like I feel like if maybe he went to like a team like Green Bay Packers, the Eagles, like, bro, he would have really, like, he wouldn't be losing as much, bro.
Still put up the big numbers, throwing for 4,967 yards, but his touchdown total dropped from 41 in 2011 to just 20 in 2012. A big part of that was the red zone struggles. I mean, he led the NFL in pass attempts with 727, yet the Lions failed to capitalize when it mattered most. But one thing did stand out. It was Calvin Johnson's historic season. With Stafford feeding him the ball, Megatron shattered Jerry Rice's single-season receiving yards record, finishing with 1,964 yards. Week after week, Stafford kept looking for Johnson, and while it didn't translate to wins, the two made NFL history together. After that disaster that was 20 wins, the two made NFL.
Yeah, this guy is tall, bro. This guy, like, I don't know what's the height of. Nah, this guy is tall, bro.
History together. After that disaster that was 2012, though, the Lions made several moves to reload around Mathew Stafford. They brought in Reggie Bush to finally give him a reliable weapon in the backfield, and expectations were once again sky high. With Stafford, Calvin Johnson were 964 yards. Week after week, Stafford kept looking for Johnson, and while it didn't translate to wins, the two made NFL history together. After that disaster that was 2012, though, the Lions made several moves to reload around Mathew Stafford. They brought in Reggie Bush to finally give him a reliable weapon in the backfield, and expectations were once again sky high. With Stafford, Calvin Johnson still in his prime, and an upgraded offense, Detroit was ready to bounce back. And for a while, it really did look like they were bouncing back. The Lions started 6-3, and with Aaron Rodgers injured for the Green Bay Packers and Chicago dealing with their always quarterback issues, the NFC North was wide open. But then, it all fell apart. Detroit lost 6 of their final 7 games, finishing 7-9 and missing the playoffs. And just like in 2012, the biggest issue was blown leads and late game collapses. Despite enough.
In other words, the defense was ass, bro. The defense was just selling the game, bro.
Another season with 4,600 plus passing yards and 29 touchdowns, Stafford's inconsistency late in games became a talking point. Could he actually win when it mattered most? Now, the biggest change in 2014 wasn't Stafford, it was the defense. With a dominant front led by Ndamukong Suh, Ziggy Ansah, DeAndre Levy, and Glover Quinn, Detroit's defense became one of the best in the league. They ranked second in total defense and were the #1 rushing defense, holding opponents to just 69.3 rushing yards per game, and the results showed. By the end of the season, Detroit finished 11-5, their best record since 1991. Stafford had his first career win against a team with a winning record on the road, and for the first time, it felt like the Lions were finally built for playoff success. Even in the wildcard game against the Dallas
Let me guess, something happened. Oh, man.
Cowboys, Detroit came out swinging. Stafford led an early touchdown drive, and the Lions built up to a 20-7 lead in the third quarter. The defense was pressuring Tony Romo, and for a moment, it looked like Detroit would win their first playoff game in over 20 years. Then, disaster struck.
I feel like he's been saying that a lot. Then, disaster struck. Then, like, I'm going to think the toughest QP in NFL history is not really a winning QP, bro. He tough, but he don't win or something. Something really gotta be wrong, bro.
Complete, no flag, there it is. Yes, sir. Pettigrew is the intended receiver. Anthony Hitchens never turned and located. That'll be pass interference on the Cowboys.
Wow. Boy, that was late. Have you ever seen that call picked up that late?
Not at all.
Hey, Pete, that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable, and you know it. You know it is, though. I know.
After the controversial no call, Tony Romo led a go-ahead touchdown drive, and the Cowboys won the game 24-.
Nah, that's gotta suck, bro. That's really gotta suck. Losing a playoff game. Cause nah, that's not fair, bro. That's really not fair. And then they took the lead.
20.
Yeah, damn, bro.
Ending Detroit's season in absolute heartbreak. And in the following season, things continued to downward spiral. Detroit started the 2015 season 1-7 and were never able to recover. The offensive line collapsed, Stafford was constantly under pressure, and the running game was non-existent. He was sacked 44 times, the second most in the league, and at one point, he was even sacked 44 times.
44, nah, that's gonna be another record, but this is not a good record. 44 sacks in the season. Nah, bro. Nah. That defense was nah. That defense was leaking, bro. That defense was leaking more than the Super Bowl final, bro.
The second most in the league, and at one point, he was even benched mid-game against Arizona after throwing 3 interceptions. GM Martin Mayhew and President Tom Lawan were fired, offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi was fired, and Lions fans were desperately hoping for a bounce back the following season. But coming into the 2016
it was GG's, bro. 2016, it was GG's, bro.
Season, there was one problem.
Molly, Stephen A., no, it didn't surprise me. And I do believe that Calvin Johnson, the great Calvin Johnson, will stay retired.
After spending 9 years in the NFL, Calvin Johnson just decided that that was enough. He had taken enough wear and tear on his body. I spoke to a source close to him recently, and that source told me that he was going to retire within the next 2 years. But at the end of this past season, his ankle hurt. He was in pain. He barely practiced during the week. And the source told me that losing and injuries had taken a toll on him.
But even without Megatron, there was one thing that Stafford knew for sure, and it was that he wasn't going to let the Lions collapse. One thing that Stafford knew for sure.
Yeah, bro. Megatron was tired, bro. Megatron was tired, bro. He saw that, nah, this team ain't doing shit for him, bro. Like, I would retire too, bro. Like, that team was not going anywhere, bro.
And it was that he wasn't going to let the Lions collapse. He was too tough for that. Instead, he elevated his game to a level we had never seen Mathew Stafford get to, and it became one of the most entertaining NFL seasons anyone had ever seen. Stafford had become the most clutch quarterback in the NFL. Detroit found itself trailing in the fourth quarter almost every week, yet somehow Stafford kept pulling off miracle finishes. By the end of the regular season, Stafford had 8 fourth quarter comebacks, the most in NFL history for a single season. The Lions finished 9-7, making the playoffs, but the season ended with a brutal 26-6 loss to Seattle in the wildcard round as Stafford struggled against a dominant Seahawks defense. For the next couple of years, Stafford would kind of go up and down with the Lions, as in 2017 they did finish 9-7 again, but this time they missed the playoffs, and then all of a sudden things started to go downhill. The Lions finished 6-10 in 2018, and just a year later, injuries got to Stafford. In Week 9, Stafford suffered a back injury that kept him sidelined for the next 8 games. When he finally did return the following season, he played well, throwing for 4,084 yards and 26 touchdowns. But one thing was clear, the Lions had no shot at being Super Bowl contenders.
So bro only had just one good season with the Lions, bro. This season he got like 5,000 passing yards and damn.
Contenders. Like, I mean, truthfully, the run game was awful, the offensive line couldn't block worth a damn, and well, the defense was giving up points like it was Halloween and they were handing out candy for free. Like, something needed to change. 1,084 yards and 26 touchdowns. But one thing was clear, the Lions had no shot at being Super Bowl contenders. Like, I mean, truthfully, the run game was awful, the offensive line couldn't block worth a damn. Like, I mean, the Lions had no shot at being Super Bowl contenders.
I don't know what bro is talking about the Super Bowl, bro. Like, they didn't even look like they were good at getting to the wild card, bro. Like, they didn't even look like they would win 2 playoff games, bro. You're talking about the Super Bowl, bro. They didn't even look like they can reach 2 playoff wins, bro. Like, what?
Like, I mean, truthfully, the run game was awful, the offensive line couldn't block worth a damn.
They were terrible, bro. They were terrible, bro.
And well, the defense was giving up points like it was Halloween and they were handing out candy for free. Like, something needed to change, and that's when the phone rang.
Well, Adam Schefter had the news first. Adam, talk about this trade. Did it happen quickly? What did you know about it as the day progressed on Saturday?
News, a blockbuster trade in the NFL. Detroit is dealing Mathew Stafford to the LA Rams in exchange for 2 future first-round picks, a third-round pick, and Jared Goff.
Better and Mathew Stafford.
So they said get him out. So the Detroit Lions, right, looked at everything that was wrong with the team and they said the QB is the problem. Like, no, they really said, no, what, the QB is the problem. But Like, I don't know what be going on with the NFL team management, bro. But nah, bro. Something is wrong with management, bro. Like I'm compared to a Saquon Barkley and the New York Giants issues back then, bro. Like the Giants did it. They did, like, bro. You've been telling these players to leave, and then they go and they win the Super Bowl, and you guys still don't win shit. I'm just saying, bro. Management, like, now what? It'd be a good thing when you actually swap these players, because you might think you're getting rid of like some, I guess, like you think they're the one that making you not win or reach the playoffs, but you are just sending them to win something, bro. Something was wrong with management when it comes to NFL teams, bro.
Stafford is not an MVP caliber player. He's a good quarterback. He's not a great one, but he's a good one. You give up Goff, 2 firsts, and a 3rd? Think of the draft capital you gave up for Ramsey.
I feel like he's cooking Mathew Stafford, bro. I feel like he's cooking our QB right here. I feel like he's saying the Rams did a bad trade. I feel like he's saying the Rams got scammed for this. Nah, bro. Redemption act. Go make him eat his words, bro. Please, Stafford. Go make this. I don't even know this dude's name, bro.
These guys are going to draft in the 1st round again. Stephen A., basically what this trade says is they have to win a Super Bowl. They got to win a Super Bowl, what, in the next 2 years? Or it's a disaster.
It was a bittersweet moment for many Lions fans who had watched Stafford grow from a young, talented, but often ignored quarterback into one of the league's best. Stafford had given it his all, but the constant cycle of disappointment and rebuilding in Detroit meant that his true potential had never been realized. But for Stafford, the trade was a long-awaited opportunity to finally compete for a Super Bowl. The Rams under new head coach Sean McVay had built a roster that was ready to win right then and there, with an elite defense led by Aaron Donald and an offense full of weapons like Cooper Kupp. And in that 2021 season, Stafford wasted no time settling into with his new team. In his Rams debut, he threw for 321 yards and 3 touchdowns in a 34-14 victory over the Chicago Bears in Week 1. He looked right at home, connecting with Cooper Kupp for a 2-touchdown performance, and the chemistry was almost immediate. And Stafford's deep ball accuracy seemed to open up the offense in ways that they hadn't been able to with Goff. The Rams started the season 7-1, and still, despite suffering a torn rib cartilage and torn ligaments in his thumb, Stafford played through it, and he was playing some of the best football ligaments in his thumb. 7-1, and still, despite suffering a torn rib cartilage and torn ligaments in his thumb.
Bro, how do you even get injured like that, bro? How do you suffer an injury like bro? Nah. Playing football is not for the weak, bro. Playing football is not for the weak, bro. This sport is not for the weak, bro. I don't know how pro suffered that injury, bro. The most I've ever was slam a toe to my fingers, bro. I don't know how you break. I don't even know where all of those things are in the hand, bro, or in the I don't even know, bro.
Stafford played through it, and he was playing some of the best football of his career. He finished the season with 4,886 yards passing, 41 touchdowns, and just 17 interceptions.
He ran it back for I know now that Detroit's a piece. I know the Lions were peace, bro. They just realized that they were the bad team. They just realized they were holding him back, bro. Listen, okay, listen. 4,000 touchdowns, 41. No, my bad. 4,000 passing yards, right? And 41 touchdowns, bro. He got 40-something touchdowns with 5,000 yards back in Detroit. He did it with a whole 1,000 less yards, bro.
886 yards passing, 41 touchdowns, and just 17 interceptions. And this was by far his most efficient season as a pro with the help of Cooper Kupp, who led the league in receiving yards and touchdowns, finishing with 145 receptions, 1,947 yards, and 16 touchdowns. The Rams finished 12-5, winning the NFC West and securing a playoff spot. But Stafford had never been able to win a playoff game in Detroit. Could he do it now?
Playoff playoff game in SoFi Stadium history is Monday Night Football. The narrative of the week, Mathew Stafford.
Can you get this team over the hump?
As the playoffs started in the wildcard round against the Cardinals, he threw for 202 yards and 2 touchdowns, leading the Rams to a dominant 34-11 victory. The next week in the divisional round against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Stafford delivered in dramatic fashion, throwing for 366 yards and 4 touchdowns, including a game-winning drive in the final minutes to defeat Tom Brady's Bucs.
Stafford bounces, deals, deep down the right side. He's got Cup running.
I ain't trying to say anything, bro. And I know Tom Brady was already getting old at this point, but still, bro. A win against the best QB in NFL, bro. And it's your first play, and people thought you're gonna lose it. And worst part, you go against Brady, bro. Nobody thinks you're gonna win a playoff game as a QB, and then you get Tom Brady in the first round of the playoffs, and you win it, bro.
Brady's Bucs.
Stafford bounces, deals, deep down the right side. He's got Cup running down the hash marks.
With a deep come on.
In the game, Matt Gape boots it through.
The Rams had marched all the way to Super Bowl 56 to face the Cincinnati Bengals, where Stafford absolutely lit it up, throwing for 283 yards and 3 touchdowns, including a game-winning touchdown to Cooper Kupp in the fourth quarter.
Cooper Kupp got it! Cooper Kupp brings it in!
The Rams won the game 23-20, finally giving Stafford his long-awaited first ever.
That's why he's the GOAT, bro. His first season out of the. Oh my God, you guys are not hearing me right now. You guys are not hearing me. His first season, not his second season. Not. Where's that mother? A professional yapper. Shut that mouth, boy. Boy, shut your mouth. You don't know anything. Shut your. He was out here talking like the Rams made a bad deal, bro. He was out here talking like the Rams made a bad deal, bro. In his first season, okay, it's his first season with the team, right? In his first season with the Rams, bro, he went and got the Super Bowl, bro. He got that ring, bro. Yeah, Lions. Guess who was bad? Guess what? Who was, bro?
Were able to finish with a winning record, but they barely missed the playoffs. Finally, coming into the star linebacker.
Cooper Kupp brings it in!
The Rams won the game 23-20, finally giving Stafford his long-awaited first ever Super Bowl victory. After that Super Bowl win, the Rams definitely weren't the same team. Star linebacker Von Miller left in free agency, Robert Woods, a key wide receiver, was traded to the Titans, and OBJ still didn't re-sign with the team even after tearing his ACL in the Super Bowl. Even then though, Stafford started the 2022 season strong, however injuries soon began to catch up with him. He dealt with a neck injury and elbow issues which severely affected his performance. Meanwhile, heading into the 2023 season though, this team wasn't expected to do anything special. But surprisingly, the Rams were able to finish with a winning record, but they barely missed the playoffs. Finally, coming into the 2024 season once again, the Rams were expected to be a mediocre team. After all, Stafford was 36 years old and in his 14th NFL season. But Stafford did what Stafford does best and showed one thing that he's shown throughout his entire career: just how really tough he is. He fought hard, leading the Rams to a 10-7 record and even a playoff win against the Vikings. Even at his old age, he showed that he still has it this past season. And that's the thing too, Mathew Stafford isn't just a quarterback, he's the toughest quarterback.
Yeah. Shut up. Detroit Lions, shut up. That dude that was reporting on the trade, shut up, bro. Stafford, my bro, you a coach for me, bro. You, sorry. Nah, damn, he's going for 40. Okay, nah. I'm guessing he's gonna retire soon, bro. I don't even care, bro. Like, he still got a Super Bowl. He still got his redemption arc, bro. Okay, redemption arc, bro. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I hope you like this video. Okay, no, if you enjoyed the video, I hope you leave a subscribe, leave a comment too. Okay, tell me who's your favorite QB, bro, or what's your favorite team. Okay, or any video we should be reacting to. Okay, I'ma see you all next time, boys.